Hello, hello, people. How are you doing? Welcome to day two. Right, allow me to play around with my screen here for a moment. So, if you're here watching, give us a like and a love. Give us a shout out. I can't necessarily see everyone who's here. I can see Valentina. Hello. Good to see you. Who else is here? Hey, Cindy. Yeah, beautiful. Giving a like and a love and a hello will just help everybody else to find the video so they know where we are live. Good to see you all turning up. Alrighty. I'm so excited about today, getting started with some of the strategies. Oh, we've got helicopters again, that's fun. Alrighty, hang on, let me close the door. I do live in a fun neighborhood where there's lots of interesting characters and there are often helicopters flying above looking for naughty people. So, okay, let's jump into it. Yesterday was great. So you learned a whole heap of reasons about why we are so addicted to our sugary habits, all right? It has a lot to do with brain chemistry. It also has a lot to do with our microbiome. And you also learned, some of the reasons why it is really imperative that we want to kick this habit, this addiction, or that you at least learn to take control of it rather than having it control you. Decided not to go into a whole heap of information about why, the impacts to the body. I think most of us know the impacts to the body. I want to focus more on, how do we break the reliance on sugar? How do we really break that habit? How do we break away from the addiction? So that's what I'm focused on during these 5 days. So I want to know, did you fill out your workbook? Are you clear on some of your patterns and your triggers with regards to sugar consumption? You probably were, but getting some of these things down on paper does really help you. It helps bring some clarity, all right, so that you can see what is truly going on for you and what is truly tripping you up. All right. So I would love to hear. Oh, hello, Joanne. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Dinesh. Good to see you all back. Alrighty, so I saw a few of you posting in the group yesterday, and it was really great to see, some ahas going on. But I'm still keen to hear your patterns with stories with sugar, your patterns, and what it is that you've been struggling with. If this is something that has been eluding you for some time. So continue to post in the group if you would like to. Alrighty, but let's move on with today. Today's about some simple strategies that we can add to our life. A lot of the time when we think about giving up sugar, we're talking about taking something away. And when we're thinking about taking something away that is currently comforting us, that can make us feel like, you're taking my best friend away from me, So rather than start by thinking about how we can take sugar out, I'm talking about a couple of strategies that are really, really simple, that are things that you can add into your life, that can help to start shift what is going on for you with regards to your cravings. You would have remembered yesterday I talked about being dehydrated and being tired as two really simple reasons that we can often be craving sugar at times. And this is probably more for people who don't have the cravings all the time or don't experience emotional cravings, I guess, but still have some cravings. I think that was probably in some ways where some of my cravings came from. So I'm going to talk you through some strategies here to improve your hydration and your rest today. And if you did come to my weight loss training that I did in October, you will have heard some of this already. So I'm hoping that you have sorted out your water and your sleep by now. But if you haven't, I'm going to hammer it home again to you today. All right. And so anybody who didn't come to that training, you might be brand new to this training. You're obviously going to get some great tools here as well. And I'm also going to talk to you about another strategy to help start to shift your microbiome. This is going to help dull those cravings somewhat. And when we start to shift the microbiome, the bacteria that is thriving in your gut, it can really help to send different messages to your brain. And as I said yesterday, we really crave what we eat. So we're starting to shift what it is we crave from a microbiome perspective. And this is a strategy that I call crowd in to crowd out. And these 3 strategies that I'm talking about today are just really, really easy strategies to start implementing straight away. And as I said, it's because they're not focused on taking anything away from you. Right? They're focused on adding something that may be missing, adding to what you're already doing, and adding something healthy to what you're already doing. So I want you to think about times when you might have tried to cut down on sugar in the past. You've probably likely done it by trying to take away sugar, right? You've tried, which sort of leads you to a position of trying to willpower your way through giving up sugar. And that is really hard, right? Especially if sugar has been a way that you've soothed your emotions in the past. So this is why we don't want to just take sugar away. It sort of leaves you just with the pain and the emotion that you are currently dealing with. And we will talk more on dealing with emotions and emotional pain and how we service the real need tomorrow. But this is another reason why I don't just want to take something away from you at the moment. And this is why also willpower doesn't work when you're just simply taking away without adding something in. Right. So let's start with water. If you didn't already know, I'm going to take a sip right now because even talking about water makes me thirsty. We as human beings are around about 70% water. It is crucial for our health, and every single biological process in the body happens via the medium of water. We can go around 3 days or so, I think it is, without water, whereas I think around 3 weeks, I guess, on our own without food. You know, some people can go longer for supervised without food. I'm not talking about people specifically doing a particular water fast. I'm just saying, if we were stranded on a desert island with no food, we'd probably last about 3 weeks. But water is really, really important to our body. In terms of sugar, it helps reduce our cravings. So when your body is dehydrated, your body is also more tired. And when your body is tired, it throws up these urgent cravings for food, usually sugary food, because sugar is that quick form of energy for the body. And believe it or not, there is still a little bit of water often in the food that you're eating that is sugary. Not much, but there is some. Water also helps to control faux hunger. So your body really wants to be hydrated. It will do anything to get some water, right? As I said, there's water in food. So water will always become urgent to your body, but it's going to send up the flare for water with food, and often, as I said, sugary food, because it knows that you will eat if you are not eating. Other fun facts: water helps you to burn fat if you're looking to lose weight. It helps to stabilize your mood hormones. It cushions your joints. It improves your cognitive function. So, if you are dehydrated, it's a lot harder to make good decisions. And one of those good decisions, or one of those hard decisions, may be staying away from sugar. Right? If you are emotionally eating, the water is going to help stabilize that mood as well. Water is very energizing to the body. We just feel so much better in our bodies when we are hydrated. I know that when I'm feeling dehydrated, oh my goodness, it's tough to get out of bed in the morning. I just feel so sluggish. So water is really, really important for your energy. Water is obviously critical for your organ function as well, including your skin. It's critical for digestion. Water, we become very constipated. Think of, floating a log down a dry river. That's literally what's going on here, right? We need that water to push everything along. Water also flushes the toxins out of our body. If you don't have enough water in your body, you are going to be slowing down your metabolism. So some chemical processes can't even happen in the body if you don't have enough water. And without enough water in your body, everything is going to slow down. Your body is going to take the water it has and use it for the most critical functions, and other things that are probably less critical to keep you alive are going to suffer, right? So why don't we just get this to where it needs to be to start with? We want at least 2 liters of water a day, 64 ounces. If you're already doing that, let's see if we can increase that a little bit more. If you are still having sugar cravings. And rather than thinking things like, I don't like water, it's so hard for me, I don't like the taste, I forget to drink, rather than sitting around generating some excuses about why you don't want to drink water or you're not drinking water, let's go to work on coming up with some reasons as to why you can, or how you can, or why you will. I want you thinking about and asking powerful questions like, how can I make this enjoyable? How can I stay accountable to drinking my water? If I'm always forgetting, how do I remind myself about critical appointments in my life, things that I need to do, places I need to be? And how can I incorporate my water consumption in this particular habit? Start to ask yourself how you can make it happen rather than going to argue why you can't. Right? And if you're unsure, a really, really easy way to check if you are hydrated is your urine should be a pale yellow color. Okay, so even like if you've been dehydrated and you're suddenly drinking 2 liters of water, but it's still not pale yellow, you may need to drink more until you get yourself to a hydrated position, okay? If it's anything darker than pale yellow, then you know you are dehydrated. A great way to step into that, if you say drinking nothing, or if you're drinking a liter and you want to try and up it to a greater amount per day, rather than just say going from 1 liter to 2 liters in a day, which could be a big step, how can you just start adding 1 extra cup, 8 ounces per day, slowly until you get to a place of hydration, all right? You want to shift that habit slowly, because just suddenly trying to go from one extreme to the other may be too difficult. Yes, you are going to pee a little bit more. For the first couple of weeks, you will be. Okay, so what's happening is your body is stabilizing. It's getting used to having this extra water. It's also probably flushing out a lot of toxins that need to come out of your body. If nothing else, I want you to see this as a great excuse to get some more steps into your day. Right? Who doesn't need some more steps in the day? Incidental exercise and incidental movement is great for our body, all right? You'll also burn some of that sugar in your body as you move, all right? If you need to add some sort of flavoring into your water to make it more palatable, if you really struggle with the taste, if you were, say, coming off, sugary or even fizzy drinks is what I'm thinking, Coke or whatever they're called. I don't even remember what they're called. Dr. Pepper, you know what I mean? Fizzy drinks. If you're coming off carbonated drinks, whether they've got sugar in them or sugar replacements in them, and you're trying to step into water consumption, what can you do to make that water more palatable for you if you're really used to that sweet, sugary taste? Things like you could even use sparkling water, mineral water. You can add things like natural juices, lemon, lime, orange juices. You can add some berries to it, or even herbs. One of my clients used to add herbs to her water as well. Just don't be adding anything sugary. We're trying to get away from that here. So do what you can to flavor the water, to make it more palatable in a natural way. And as I said, you can have sparkling water if that is going to make it more palatable for you as well. Now, do tea and coffee count towards your water? If they're caffeinated, no. All right. Caffeine is a diuretic. It is going to dehydrate you, right? If you are drinking these, it's not to say you can't drink them, but if you are drinking them, you want to make sure you add another cup of water to make up for the dehydrating effect of that caffeine. So, if you want to be drinking 2 liters of water a day and you want to have a cup of coffee, add another cup of water to make up for that coffee. What if you're a shift worker and you have periods of time on the job where you can't drink? I'm thinking of people who often work in hospitals or teachers. Oftentimes you either can't drink because you're on the job, or you can't be racing off to the loo during your job, which to me sounds ridiculous, but I get it. So here's a strategy for you that could work. As soon as you wake up in the morning, before your feet even hit the floor, drink 2 cups of water, half a litre, down it. Get your system ready, flush out all the toxins from overnight's rest and repair cycle and detox cycle. And then as you get yourself ready for your day, you want to drink another half litre, another 2 cups of water. Before you even start work, you're halfway there. You're feeling energized, you're feeling hydrated, you're feeling amazing, you can hit the ground running. Then when you finish work, what you want to do straight away, have another 2 cups, another half a litre. And then you can finish your other half a litre through the rest of your evening. Done. Sounds simple, doesn't it? It is when you break it down like that. All right. And if you are concerned about adding more water because you may have to get up in the middle of the night, this is completely normal. It's normal for a person who is hydrated to have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Let's not make it a problem. It doesn't have to be a problem. I get up at least once a night to pee. I'd rather be getting up than be dehydrated, because I know when I'm dehydrated, oh my goodness, I dream about drinking water. I dream about not being able to get the water out of my bottle. It just won't come out and I'm so thirsty. I would much rather have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom than be drinking about being dehydrated, right? We don't have to make it a problem. Just go back to sleep. You just turn your brain off. You don't engage your brain. If you struggle to get back to sleep at that point, the likelihood is you are engaging your brain. You are waking your brain up, your conscious brain, and you start looking at the phone, scrolling, notifications. Brain starts going, oh, what have we got to do today? Stress, 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 stress. We don't want to activate our stress response, all right? We don't want to start we don't want to start waking the brain up. We don't want to allow it to get all jacked up and whiny about having to get up, getting all stressed out about our day. We've just got to shut it off. We've got to not engage with anything. I actually now turn all of my notifications off between certain hours in the evening and the morning, so nothing flashes up on my phone. And it's great. I can disconnect. It's perfect. All right. So you don't activate your stress response when you get up by looking at your phone, by thinking about your day. Just keep your brain nice and relaxed and you will go back to sleep. It may take a little bit of training to start with, but it can be done. You just need to remember that you can do this. You just remember that you have control of your brain. All right, when you start getting stressed about what might be coming up for your day, or you get stressed about anything, once you've activated your stress response and you've got cortisol floating around your body, you won't be able to get to sleep. So we don't want to do that. So this takes me on to our next strategy, which is sleep and making a plan to get your water and your sleep. We want to make sure that you are writing this down. If you write down your strategy to get water and sleep, you are more likely to get it done. Right? So, as I said, if you wake in the middle of the night, I want you to bore yourself to sleep. We don't want the drama. We don't want you spiking your cortisol. This is what will keep you awake because your brain thinks you are supposed to be awake. It's going to speed up your heart rate. You will breathe faster, your eyes will widen, your body will actually stiffen because it thinks it's about to have to fight or flee. What it also does is dump some glucose, sugar, from the liver into the bloodstream because it thinks you're going to need some extra energy. And then your body is definitely awake. So you definitely do not want to be activating your stress response if you're trying to get back to sleep. Now, sleep is essential for good health and for healing of the body. The body works on repairing itself and detoxifying when you are asleep. Sleep disruption is associated with elevated stress levels, weight gain, and the increase of chronic diseases such as heart disease. A lack of sleep is also pro-inflammatory to the body, and then chronic inflammation leads to all sorts of other diseases. In otherwise healthy adults, short consequences of sleep disruption can include things like increased stress, as I said, pain in the body, increased pain, increased emotional distress and mood disorders. So if you are a stress eater, right, the last thing you want to do is be tired because you're more likely to activate your stress while you're awake and eat for it. A lack of sleep is also associated with impaired cognitive function, right? Thinking, memory, brain fog, right? When you're not thinking properly, when your brain is not firing properly, you're less likely to make good decisions. And guess what? When you're sleep deprived, when your body is tired, it manipulates your hunger hormones to throw up urges for sugar because sugar is that quick form of energy for a tired body. So quality sleep not only stabilizes your moods, it's going to be critical. Sorry, let me start that part again. Quality sleep stabilizes moods. So if you suffer with mental health challenges or emotional issues, it's critical that you get your sleep so that you are not likely to engage sugar as your emotional crutch. As you make better decisions for yourself around your food, as well as in life in general, you are more likely to get some good sleep into your life. If you're getting good sleep into your life, you're more likely to make better decisions for yourself in your life. All right? The two go hand in hand. When you're sleeping well, you think clearly, you make good decisions. Okay, what are we looking for? Minimum 7 to 9 hours is what we ideally would like in terms of sleep. 7 hours usually minimum. Um, your body does go through a whole rest and repair cycle. As I said, you need to be able to give it enough time to get through that cycle. So getting enough sleep and getting enough water, hydration, are two very simple strategies that working together can really help you get on top of your cravings, help re-energize you in a way that doesn't need sugar or caffeine to prop you up. They're going to both make you feel a lot healthier. They'll help you stabilize your moods and help you think straight and make better decisions, particularly around food. So this is what I call low hanging fruit when it comes to managing your sugar cravings. So if these two are not on point, then these can be a really couple of easy strategies that you can get started with, okay? So some tips for getting good quality sleep, 7 to 9 hours. If you are not getting 7 hours to start with, what I would like you to do is just start where you are and add around 10 to 15 minutes every few days until you are able to get to the 7 hours minimum. You want to get used to that slightly earlier time, but you want to make sure you roll it back in small increments so that you don't really notice the difference, all right? And what you want to do is you want to train your body to be getting to sleep slightly earlier. So what you want to do is you don't want to jump straight into trying to get 7 hours sleep if your body's not used to it. If you're starting at 5 hours, 5.5 hours, 6 hours, don't try and go straight to 7 hours because your body won't be used to sleeping at that time. You have to train it slightly in increments, right? Start with an extra 10 to 15 minutes each night. Well, not each night, each few nights until your body is ready to, is used to that new time. Please don't forego sleep in order to get your exercise. It is actually better for you to get your full allocation of sleep, right? I love exercising in the morning, but I know that when I was foregoing sleep in order to get my exercise, I wasn't coping with either. I wasn't exercising well. I wasn't coping with life. I was exhausted. And I went for a period of time where I didn't exercise because I was trying to catch up on sleep. So if you do want to exercise in the morning, just cut back a little bit, exercise a little less so you can get enough sleep, all right? Or go to bed earlier. Get used to going to bed a little earlier so that you are not sleep compromised. It's very dangerous to be sleep compromised. Next strategy, make your bedroom a tech-free zone. You can remove things like TVs and laptops and iPads, anything that might be a distraction for you and keeping you up. Also, the frequency and the waves and all that sort of stuff, it's been shown to disrupt sleep patterns, all right? So remove as much of that as you can. And scrolling on your phone late at night as well, it also tricks your brain and your hormones into thinking that it's still daylight. So you can actually impair your melatonin production, which is your sleep hormone. So put away that phone, put away the laptop, put away the iPad or whatever it is you're playing with late at night, and just allow your hormonal system to balance out and start producing the melatonin so you feel sleepy. If you have light coming into your room in any way, or the room's not completely black, do something to block out that light. Maybe it's street lights or something like that coming into the room. But just make sure you can block out that light in some way because that will really help you get to sleep properly. If there is noise outside and it's keeping you awake, use earplugs or something to block out that noise. I've actually used my Apple AirPods to block out noise. There was some tram works happening right outside my apartment, like right outside my bedroom one night. And it was a terrible drilling sound that I think started about 11 p.m. And the AirPods really, really helped. I just put them onto noise blocking. Nothing was playing. And it was like I was able to get to sleep so quickly. But yeah, use earplugs or whatever you can to block out any noise that might be keeping you awake. And also make your room like a cozy sanctuary. It's a place that you want to retreat to, a place that you want to go to sleep in. make that a separate space to your living space. You really want to make sure that this is the rest part of your home, right? If there are photos of family or things that might distract you that don't feel cozy, go to work and just do some work and tidy that up so it feels like a really cozy, safe space for you. So you are going to make a plan this week. You're going to know the time that you need to get up, and you're going to work backwards from there to determine when you need to go to sleep. Now give yourself some buffer of time, maybe half an hour or so, to actually fall asleep. And this is the time that you then want to be in bed. And if you're miles away from that right now, just start with where you're at and start rolling your bedtime forward by 10 to 15 minutes every day, or not every day, every few days, until you're able to get to that ideal time. When you wake up, the first thing you want to do is drink your water. All right, so water and sleep, two things that are critical for health and two things that are critical for managing your desire and your cravings for sugar. Everyone take a drink. All right, do we have any questions so far? Let's have a look. Yes, Paul, you might need to watch later. See you, my friend. All righty. Great, Sandy, working hard at water and sleep. This is great. Who else? Hey, Zena. Oh, thanks, Cindy. Well, the noise was distracting me, put it that way. Even if you can't hear it, it was distracting me. It was so loud. It's gone now. Okay, first two strategies down. The next is my crowd in to crowd out strategy. So as I said, this is the day we're working things in. So a little bit like we've done with water and sleep, we're adding that in. This strategy is the one that's designed to help shift your microbiome, those billions, like 39 billion microbes that live in your gut that you can't live without, right? We need to live in symbiosis with these guys. So you learned yesterday that your microbiome responds and adapts very quickly to what you feed it. I heard Dr. Will Balsawitz talking about this in a podcast today, and I forget how many lifetimes he said the microbiome turnover in a day. It's something like we would be taking the human race back to the era of the pyramids. That's how many generations of microbes turn over in your gut. I'm talking generations in a day, right? So that's how quickly they react to everything that you are eating. You have good microbes, the ones that generate health and healing and send out good signals to all parts of your body, including your immune system, your brain, your organs, the whole lot. And then you have your bad microbes. These are the microbes that generate inflammation, generate damage in the body, and lead to chronic disease. They also send terrible signals to your brain. And at any one time, we have a balance of both good and bad microbes. When the good microbes are the ones flourishing in the gut, they can actually suppress the naughty, destructive behavior of the bad microbes. So this is why we want to add in some good guys. So bit of an analogy. I always like my analogies, metaphors. Think of them like a little like cops and robbers. And think of, when you've got a strong police force doing their job effectively, they can catch the robbers and, they can catch them easily, and their presence prevents too much crime from actually happening. But when your good guys or your cops are poorly funded, and maybe the numbers aren't great, they don't have the right equipment, or they're outnumbered by the robbers, they can't keep up with the crime rate. And a lot of damage happens in the body as a result. Now, yesterday I told you what your good microbes love to eat. So what was it? Who remembers? You've probably all seen me talk about this a million times, right? Fiber. Fiber, actually, they also eat resistant starch and polyphenols, but these are all found in whole plant foods. And what do your bad microbes love to eat? That's anything that is devoid of fiber. Things like animal foods, highly processed foods, oils, sugar. Yep. So your gut microbes, as I said, are in constant communication with your brain via the vagus nerve. And among the many signals that they're actually sending out all over the body, they're sending cravings to the brain to be fed. So if you are feeding your bad microbes a diet of sugar, guess what they are going to be craving? They're going to be sending signals to the brain for more sugar. The more you eat, the more you strengthen those microbes that eat sugar. The stronger their voice becomes, the stronger the food cravings are that are sent to your brain. The more you eat, the more you crave. And guess what happens if you simply try to quit eating sugar cold tofurkey? See what I did there? As those microbes start to die off, they start to kind of panic and throw up even stronger urges because they're dying. They're living creatures just like any of us, and they want to do what they can to survive. So cravings like this can happen to anyone who gives up certain foods overnight. I've seen this happen with a lot of people giving up animal products. They'll suddenly get these massive cravings for dead flesh, and that is their microbes talking as they die off. The cravings do disappear, but in the interim, they can feel so intense that they really drive you back to eating that very food that you are trying to give up, which is exactly why I don't suggest we just quit. Don't just give it away, because those intense cravings can be too much. So, in order to shift the balance of your microbes and create a gut environment that's flourishing with good microbes that will then suppress the naughty activity of the bad microbes and suppress those sugar cravings, we're going to crowd in some good stuff to crowd out some of the bad stuff, all right? This is where you're going to stock up on lots of healthy food prior to allowing yourself that sugar hit. So you can allow yourself to have a sugar hit, but let's just say we can do it if I've had lots of fiber-rich foods first. We don't want to see this as a reward, though. We don't want to see it as a reward for healthy eating. We don't ever really want to see food as a reward for anything, because then that can set up an unhealthy relationship with food as well. We want to approach this as I'm choosing to feed my good microbes before I allow the bad microbes to be fed. Just a little bit of a mindset shift there. I'm making sure my police force is well equipped and well funded before I give a handout to the robbers. And if I have any room for the bad stuff, or even desire the bad stuff after I've had the good stuff, then I'll allow myself to have some. Although I don't really like using the terms good and bad for food either, but I'm just using it here so you understand what I'm talking about. Now, with this simple strategy, you start to shift the makeup of your microbiome, and your cravings and your urges for the sugary processed foods really does start to reduce. Now, as we know, sugar is so much more palatable than vegetables. Yeah, who wouldn't want to eat a bar of chocolate over a stick of celery, right? So the trick is here to make your fiber-rich foods really delicious. You know, don't choose foods that you're not going to eat. Choose foods that you actually love the taste of. You know, if it's pineapple, pineapple's beautifully sweet. Why don't we choose pineapple? Mangoes, who doesn't love mangoes? Berries, all the things. One of my strategies that has worked really, really well for me and for my clients to bust through all sorts of cravings and urges is my tropical green smoothie. If you haven't seen me talk about this smoothie yet, you're obviously new around here. All right, so welcome to my little magic trick. Doesn't solve every problem, but it solves, it helps with a lot of problems. All right. My clients who've adopted this smoothie say they can't live without it now, and they actually start to crave it. This has helped them deliver a huge amount of beneficial nutrients to their body while actually tasting like they're drinking a tropical fruit salad. So it may look, green, but you get the real sweetness of pineapple and mango in there as well. And of course, given if you're using dark leafy greens, then you're delivering yourself a beautiful range of nutrients to both feed your body and feed your microbes. Now, I am obsessed with this smoothie personally. I'm actually feeling like I'm salivating just looking at it. I want to drink it. So here we go. Pineapple, yum. If you haven't got my recipe, the recipe is in my free download. If you have that, you'll see it in there. So I think it's the first smoothie on the list. If you don't have my free recipe download yet, why not? Tell me in the comments. I will flick it to you. It's available many places here in the group as well. So maybe just search recipes and you'll find a link to it as well. But there's tons of other great fiber-rich recipes that you can tap into as well in that recipe book that are going to help feed your good microbes and help crowd out your bad microbes. Really help shift those sugar cravings. People who transition to a whole foods, plant-based diet say their sugar cravings just over time, they disappear. Once you stop feeding those microbes, those sugar-eating microbes, and start feeding them beautiful whole plant foods, your sugar cravings do start to disappear. Alrighty, so they are 3 very simple strategies to add some more health to your day so that your body is less likely to produce sugar cravings, and that can also help to start dampen the strength of those cravings. Adding in something that is missing is always a good place to start, rather than trying to take away what your body has come to love because it's become a big source of pleasure. So to recap, 2 to 3 liters of water, light yellow pea, please. If you're not there, add another 250 mils, 8 ounces, 1 cup every day to get you closer to that goal. Sleep, at least 7 hours, please, but ideally somewhere between 7 and 9. You want to wake up feeling energized and rested. If you're not getting the minimum, start with where you're at and look to add 10 to 15 minutes every few days until you get to that minimum. There's a whole host of reasons that I can go into, but I don't have time today to go through all of them as to why sleep is so important for your health and for your body and for your sugar cravings. And then next, we are crowding in some healthy, fiber-rich, nutrient-rich foods in order to start shifting the microbiome and starting to shift the balance of the microbes in your gut. So you can simply add my tropical green smoothie if you want to start your day the right way. Or you can look through the rest of my recipe ebook. If you don't have that, grab a copy of it somewhere or just tap me on the shoulder and I'll send it to you. But lots of fiber-rich foods to help dampen that sugar, those sugar urges. Now, in your workbook, I have some exercises to help you make the shift with these simple strategies. You can choose to work on all 3 if you want to, or you can determine which of the 3 could do with the most work initially. Say you're getting enough sleep and you're eating lots of great foods, but you're not drinking enough water. Start there. Start with implementing what you see as the most urgent first. And I'm also keen to know if you are going to implement any changes from these. Please do let me know, post in the group, let us know in the comments. Yeah, I'm interested to know what you are going to be shifting. So thank you for being here again today. Tomorrow, we're going to look at emotional eating. When we are turning to sugar, because we are emotionally in pain. We are going to look at what is actually going on deep down for you. All that is happening is that you are feeling in pain. Something isn't quite right in your life, but what you're doing is numbing it. You're taking the fastest route to feeling good again, because sugar sure does make you feel better when it gives you a massive whack of dopamine, right? We're using it in some way, though, to escape some sort of pain in our lives, some sort of message that our soul, our soul is trying to. So how do we stop and listen to what that actually is? So for all you emotional eaters out there, tomorrow's your day. You don't want to miss this. I will see you, same bat time, same bat channel, tomorrow. Yes, I've got any questions? Yes, Joanne, 64 ounces a day is what you're aiming for at least. All right. But as I said again, you'll be able to tell by the color of your pee. Light yellow, that's where you want it. Anybody else? Oh, headache. Hey, Michaela. Good to see you. Michaela and I went to school together a long time ago. All right, doesn't look like there's any questions, guys. I know we're a little bit later on the bit of a delay here. If you have any questions, post them in the group or post the thread. I'll come back and I'll answer them, or I'll answer them tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow for emotional eating. Ciao for now.